Imagine a place where every promise of a better life comes with a deadly price. In the shadow of America's 19th century industrial boom, one family uncovered a secret so dark it would cost them everything to expose it. This is the story of the Murphy family, whose courage shattered a conspiracy that bound generations in blood. If you're drawn to mysteries that reveal the hidden truths of our past, hit that subscribe button, ring the notification bell, and join us as we unravel one of America's most chilling historical scandals. Where are you watching from? Drop your city or state in the comments below, and let's dive into the darkness together. In the rolling Appalachian foothills of western Pennsylvania, about 40 miles southeast of Pittsburgh, lies the ghost of Milfield, a town that once pulsed with the promise of prosperity but hid a sinister secret. In the 1840s, Milfield was a company town, wholly owned by the Keystone Coal and Iron Company. Every street, store, and soul was under the company's iron grip. The mines that honeycombed the mountains employed over 800 men, many of them immigrants, fleeing Europe's turmoil, Irish escaping the Great Famine, Germans dodging political unrest, and Italians seeking economic refuge. But Milfield wasn't just another mining town. It was a carefully engineered experiment in control. Keystone's settlement program targeted specific families, luring them with promises of housing, jobs, and security. In return, these families signed contracts that bound them to the company for generations. The town's gray-painted houses, company store, and even the church were designed to keep workers dependent. Their lives tracked in ledgers that noted everything from debts to political leanings. This was no ordinary workplace. It was a machine of exploitation. Fueled by desperation and disguised as opportunity, into this world stepped Seamus Murphy, a 28-year-old Irish immigrant arriving in 1846 with a letter of introduction from an unknown benefactor in Ireland. Unlike most newcomers, Seamus could read and write in English and Gaelic, skills that quickly elevated him from the mines to the company's accounting office. There, he met Margaret O'Connell, a seamstress and daughter of another recruited family, whose education in Latin and sharp intellect matched his own. Their marriage in 1846 was both a union of love and a strategic alliance in a town where survival demanded vigilance. But as Seamus pored over the company's ledgers, he began to see the true scope of Keystone's control. The records weren't just financial, they were a surveillance system documenting workers' debts, church attendance, and even their children's school performance. Margaret, too, sensed something sinister beneath Milfield's orderly surface. Their unease grew when they learned their new home came with rules about who they could host and what they could discuss. The company's reach extended even to the cemetery, where plots were allocated by corporate decree. In 1847, Margaret gave birth to their first son, Patrick, named after Seamus's father. The pregnancy was fraught with strange dreams, visions of a cemetery filled with identical headstones bearing unfamiliar names. Dr. Ezra Caldwell, Milfield's physician, noted similar symptoms in other women tied to the company's elite, but he dismissed them as nerves. Yet his private journal hinted at darker suspicions, documenting patterns of illness and death that seemed precise to be natural. By 1868, Patrick was 21, a shift supervisor in the dangerous Shaft 7, a 400-foot-deep tunnel known for its unstable coal seams and methane pockets. On March 15th, his 21st birthday, a methane explosion ripped through the mine at 17 p.m. The blast killed only Patrick, leaving his 11 crewmates unconscious but alive. Dr. Caldwell's examination revealed something chilling. Patrick's body was unmarked, as if he had simply stopped living at the moment of the explosion. Survivors recalled Patrick checking his watch and saying, "Time's up," seconds before the blast. A letter found in his pocket, written 2 weeks earlier, detailed his burial wishes and cryptically stated, "The first payment is made. The debt continues with my brothers." Keystone labeled the explosion an accident caused by Patrick's negligence, sealed the report, and paid the Murphys a small settlement. But Dr. Caldwell's private notes suggested the blast was too controlled, too precise, to be accidental. The tragedy marked the beginning of a pattern that would haunt the Murphys for decades. The loss of Patrick aged Seamus and Margaret, but their second son, Thomas, was hit hardest. A reckless 20-year-old with his mother's intellect, Thomas refused to accept the official story. He scoured mining reports, interviewed survivors, and uncovered troubling details. Shaft 7 had been flagged as unsafe, and Patrick had been ordered to inspect gas pockets on his birthday by Josiah Bentley, Keystone's calculating operations manager. When Thomas confronted Seamus with a letter proving Bentley's involvement, his father burned it, warning him to stop digging. Undeterred, Thomas met secretly with former Keystone workers, who spoke of blood contracts, agreements that demanded the death of a family's eldest son at 21 to ensure company prosperity. As his own 21st birthday approached in March 1873, Thomas grew paranoid, carrying a pistol and claiming he was being followed. On the eve of his birthday, he barricaded himself in the bell tower of St. Michael's Catholic Church, armed with his father's rifle. Father O'Malley, the priest, found Thomas gone and sleepless, ranting about a conspiracy that targeted his family. Thomas claimed Patrick's death was a murder timed to fulfill a blood contract, and he vowed to shoot anyone who came for him. At noon, as the church bells rang, Thomas aimed at 3 strangers he believed were assassins, but his rifle exploded, impossibly killing him instantly. Father O'Malley, a witness, fainted from shock, later noting that every clock in Milfield stopped for 21 seconds at the moment of Thomas's death. The company called it a defective cartridge, but Father O'Malley's journal recorded Thomas's warnings about a contract binding the Murphys to Keystone. The priest's discovery of a hidden church ledger confirmed the existence of spiritual transactions, listing families obligated to offer their sons as sacrifices. The Murphy story, while unique, echoes real-life horrors of 19th century industrial America. Consider the Hawks Nest Tunnel disaster in West Virginia 1930-1931, where hundreds of workers, mostly African-American migrants, died from silicosis due to unsafe conditions. The company knew the risks but prioritized profits, much like Keystone's calculated murders. Similarly, the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory fire in 1911 New York killed 146 workers, mostly immigrant women, because factory owners locked exits to prevent theft. These tragedies reveal how corporations exploited vulnerable populations, using their desperation to enforce compliance. Another chilling example is the Ludlow Massacre of 1914 in Colorado, where striking miners and their families were attacked by company-hired militias, resulting in 21 deaths, including women and children. Like the Murphys, these workers faced violence for challenging corporate power. These stories remind us that the Murphy conspiracy, while dramatized, is rooted in the grim reality of unchecked industrial greed. By 1873, the Murphys were unraveling. Seamus turned to alcohol, making errors in the company books and warning others about the price of prosperity. Margaret, haunted by her sons' graves, discovered similar deaths among other Milfield family's young men like Johann Steiner and Edward Flanagan, all 21, all killed in accidents after receiving company promotions. Their third son, Michael, now 19, found contracts hidden in the church basement, signed by Seamus's father in the 1820s. These documents demanded a tithe of blood from each family's eldest son at 21, in exchange for security. On a cold December night, Seamus destroyed the papers in a rage, but Margaret secretly kept copies. Determined to save Michael, she enlisted Father O'Malley, who uncovered the church's complicity in Keystone schemes. In March 1874, the weeks before his 21st birthday, Michael confronted Bentley and Keystone's board with the contract, demanding the family's release. Bentley's panicked reaction and the board's offer of a settlement confirmed their guilt. Michael rejected the deal, vowing to expose them. That night, 3 men in dark coats followed him, but Margaret's network of protectors, Father O'Malley, Dr. Caldwell, and townsfolk kept him safe. The next morning, Bentley was found dead of a heart attack, clutching a letter that read, "The contracts must end." His death triggered confessions from other officials, revealing a network of assassins who staged accidents across Pennsylvania. Dr. Caldwell's journals detailed his forced falsification of death certificates, naming the killers and their methods. The Murphys faced brutal retaliation threats, vandalism, and Seamus's beating. Father O'Malley's church burned down, and Dr. Caldwell died by apparent suicide before testifying. In May 1874, the family fled to Cedar Falls, Oregon. Hoping to escape, Michael and his younger brother Brendan survived, but in 1885, Michael's son, Patrick Jr., uncovered the family's past. His investigations drew attention, and by 1888, the same dark-coated man appeared in Cedar Falls. On his 21st birthday, Patrick Jr. staged a public standoff with 50 armed supporters, capturing the assassins. Their confessions exposed similar conspiracies in 12 states. leading to arrests and the 1889 nullification of the contracts. The Murphy case spurred labor reforms, banning hereditary servitude and improving mining safety. Milfield faded into obscurity, its cemetery a silent testament to the lives lost. The Murphys' courage showed that ordinary people could dismantle even the most entrenched systems of oppression. The Murphy story reveals the dark underbelly of America's Industrial Revolution, where immigrants were pawns in a game of profit. Keystone's contracts exploited cultural beliefs and curses to enforce compliance, a tactic rooted in psychological manipulation. This mirrors modern corporate strategies that use fear, job loss, financial ruin to control workers. The conspiracy also highlights the complicity of institutions like the church, which sanctified exploitation under the guise of divine will. Today, similar dynamics persist in industries that exploit gig workers or undocumented laborers, offering minimal protections while maximizing profits. The Murphys' resistance underscores the power of collective action, a lesson relevant to modern labor movements like those pushing for unionization in tech or retail. The Murphy family saga teaches us that no system, no matter how powerful, is invincible when confronted with courage and truth. Injustice thrives in silence, but speaking out even at great personal cost can spark change. Ask yourself, what injustices in your world go unchallenged because they're cloaked in normalcy? Share your thoughts in the comments, and let's keep uncovering the truths that shape our past and present. The Murphys turned their tragedy into triumph, proving that the human spirit can overcome even the darkest conspiracies. Subscribe for more stories of resilience and share this with someone who loves a mystery. The past still has secrets to tell. Are you ready to listen? See you in the next video.